The season inches nearer. Who meets in the Big Ten championship game? How many teams go to the playoff? It's a full conference preview on today's Locked On Big Ten Squad.
You're talking ball with the Big Ten Squad. From USC to Ohio State, from Michigan to Oregon, from Nebraska to Washington, it's the local experts of the Locked On Podcast Network bringing you scoops, breakdowns, and the most comprehensive preview of the upcoming Big Ten weekend. No hurt feelings and thin skin allowed. Squad up, you're part of the Big Ten Squad.
Happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome to this week's Locked On Big Ten Squad. I'm your host, Spencer McLaughlin, neutral arbiter of all things college football. Jacob Goins of Locked On Hoosiers is here. Roman Tomashoff of Locked On Huskies, not in the last position. Look at this.
Let's go.
Do you guys know why Roman isn't in the last position? Because Craig Sheeman of Locked On Big Ten.
Where'd he go? Just kidding. I did it. That was me. Just kidding.
I was going to say he's not there because Craig Sheeman of Locked On Big Ten never shows up on time to these things. But
he does show up.
Out.
So that's all that matters.
He did. He did. The same cannot be said for everyone. Guess their teams are just getting dogged on for today's show. So we'll talk about who's going to meet in Indianapolis, how many teams the Big Ten sends to the playoff, 8 preseason top 25 teams, and big games and bold takes for the show. Goins, I will throw it to you and the reigning national champions of whom you cover there on Locked On Hoosiers. Do they get back to the Big Ten championship game, number one? And number two, who are they playing?
I will give the homer take of yes, they will. I will also give the professional, non-biased take of yes, they will be playing for the Big Ten championship game in Indianapolis. Because, look, I think the worst case scenario, you could say, yeah, they could go 6-6 or 8-4. You could say that about every team if you just wanted to be, have fun conversations. But when you look at this Indiana team and this roster and the schedule and how it's laid out, I think 10-2 at the absolute worst, but I think 11-1 is the most common area and the most common record that I come to, and I think everybody else comes to as well. And 11-1 in the Big Ten, doesn't matter who that loss is to, you're representing the Big Ten on one side in Indianapolis, and Hoosier fans will show up like they did a year ago. So yes, Indiana will be in Indy for the Big Ten championship game.
That is actually incorrect, Goins. If they were to lose to Ohio State and Oregon were to then beat Ohio State and be 12-0, Indiana would not make the Big Ten championship game.
Well,
that sounds like a neutral arbiter thing right there.
Yeah, I'm going
That's
on the
just
fact
a
that Oregon
hypothetical
doesn't
that gets
go
thrown
undefeated.
out.
I'm just saying, Oregon ain't going undefeated. So Indiana, yes, will be in Indianapolis for the Big Ten.
Goins drinking the haterade over there. Anyway,
those coordinators, man, not enough people are talking.
Speaking of haterade, Roman Tomashoff, Locked On Huskies. He's here. Hey, Roman. Hey, how's it?
Waiting for that one.
How's it going? Hey, great movie recommendation the other night.
Hey, I got you. You're
The Incredibles
welcome.
is never the wrong choice. I'm really glad I went with that one.
You had to get recommended to watch Incredibles? What?
Wait, no. So here, I want to tell this story. This is great.
By all means.
So Spencer texts me at 9:00 on Sunday night, and just, are you awake? And I was like, yeah. And he calls me.
What's up? He said, hey, you up?
Yes, he did. And that's why I wanted to be the one to tell the story. And I thought he was going to be like, hey, I need you for 10 minutes to record a segment. I was going to be like, oh, yeah, for sure. But like 30 seconds later, I get a call from Spencer. And he goes, hey, having trouble picking a movie. And he lists off like 6 or 7 suggestions. And I was just like, okay, and he had 2 that I was deciding between, The Incredibles and School of Rock. And I was like, okay, I had both of those movies on my mind that day for whatever reason. And so I was like, you can't go wrong with The Incredibles. And that's how we came to that.
Yeah, The Incredibles was in there, School of Rock, any of the original Star Wars trilogy on VHS, mind you. Or,
Yes.
dude, I've held those things in my hands, and of all the things in life that can feel good to grasp in your hands, VHS original Star Wars is number one, without question.
I'm not mature enough to make it through this conversation.
There's no debate. The other movie that was being debated was X-Men First Class, which is a top tier superhero.
I do enjoy X-Men.
That's one of my 10 favorite movies of all time. So anyway, back to football, because that's what this show is supposed to be about, or at least that's what they told us more or less. Roman, who right now, we're recording the show on August 19th. Who are you picking to make the Big Ten championship game in Indianapolis?
My first instinct here is a rematch of last year's in Ohio State and Indiana. I feel like that would be an absolute blast of a game to watch where both these rosters are extremely talented, extremely well coached. And it's one of those things where it is a big three right now, right? Between those two and another school out there that I guess will be mentioned because Craig's got their pennant on the wall in the Oregon Ducks. Those are the top three rosters right now in the conference, but give me Ohio State, give me Indiana in a rematch of last year's. I feel like it's too hard to bet against either of those schools at this point in time with where they're at on both sides of the ball, in my opinion.
Yeah, how about this, ladies and gentlemen? A straggler has entered the chat. Oh, and bumped Roman to the last spot.
I'm just not even shocked at this point.
Oh, I was more so
make any
laughing that
sense.
Ryan was about to be mid-sip of something in a can. I just don't know what it is.
It's a water.
I'd literally just add him to the show. I would think it would slide him in next to Craig. And it doesn't. Ryan, you do have to go last because you showed up after Craig. So Craig doesn't have to wait. But Ryan will. Ryan Herrings of Locked On Badgers, everybody. Yay, Ryan. Woo! He's still alive over there somehow. So, Craig, who do you have making
first of all,
it to Indianapolis?
First of all, Ryan, you just missed. Apparently, when people text people at midnight on Sunday and say, "What's up?" it means something totally different in my world. This happened between Roman and Spencer.
It was 9:06 p.m. to be exact.
Can't confirm. It was 9
But
o'clock.
I'm on the East Coast, so that was a past midnight call. So what's
Yeah.
up, sweetheart?
Ryan, have you ever gotten a "you up" text? You ever got one of those?
Yeah.
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 All right. Now,
Oh, yeah.
for those of you that missed Locked On Big Ten on Wednesday, I talked about how egregious it was that Oregon was not the #1 team in the country in the AP poll that came out this week. That is
Great
the most
take.
complete.
Craig.
That is the most complete roster in America. First and second string, offense, defense. There are 0 questions on that lineup. Maybe
Kicker.
a snapping tape.
Offensive line.
Maybe a kicker. Maybe. No,
Kicker.
they're solid. They're a better roster than Ohio State. I would flip them in the rankings. So I'm going to give Oregon a spot at the Big Ten championship game. I think this is their year. Now I'm going to finesse it a little bit. October 17th, the winner of the Ohio State-Indiana game in Bloomington will take on Oregon for the Big Ten championship. There we go. And
I like
hopefully
that.
be Indiana.
I like that take. All right, you want to know my honest reaction to you saying all those good things about Oregon? Anyone seen that Tim Robinson sketch where he's in the car and he turns around and he goes, "I don't know what any of this stuff is and I'm scared."
Yes.
Okay, Roman got it. Ryan has no idea. Absolutely none. Do you have any idea who's making the Big Ten championship game, Ryan?
Yeah. So thankfully you put the question out there because I didn't even know what we were talking about. Like I joined a little late. I wasn't sure on topics.
Somebody didn't check the group chat.
Ryan,
yeah.
it's Ryan.
It was
it's
laid
called,
out a week
You
ago.
just
It's
outed
called
yourself,
a
man.
conference championship game, and it's a meeting between two teams. I'm sorry, I got to explain this to Wisconsin. It's a meeting between two teams who have a really good season.
Inaugural Big Ten championship game featured Wisconsin. We are
The Western Division doesn't exist anymore, by the way.
We're not talking ancient history here, my friend. Like we are well aware.
No, all we're talking about is getting in on a technicality. That's all.
Or anything that's happened in the last
one of the years. Only one of the years was a technicality, and in that year, Wisconsin beat Nebraska 70-31 in the Big Ten title game. So let's talk history, because
Hey, back when championship games mattered, Ryan. Back when they mattered,
my gut. I like what Craig said. I joined late, obviously. I missed what Jacob said, but I'm sure it was who.
You didn't miss anything.
I like Oregon. I like our Oregon. I like Ohio State. I do think Oregon is loaded. Listen, Indiana's great.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
End it right there. Next.
No, they are, and
Yeah.
some of those late additions they've gotten are tremendous. But I'm going to go Oregon. I'm going to go Ohio State. I don't think you're going to go wrong picking any of those three teams, quite frankly.
Yeah. Wise words from the host of Locked On Badgers, Ryan Herrings. Do we have more wise words that we can come up with on today's show? I got to be honest. I'm going to have to remind myself of the rundown. I've got it written down here to my left, and I'm going to look at it while the
Look at
ad
the
wipe plays,
screen.
which is a solid 4 seconds, while putting the logo for today's sponsor on the bottom of the show. That's right. The second segment will be about how many teams the Big Ten will send to the college football playoff. If you want to trade on any Big Ten team to make the college football playoff, you want to check out our friends over at Kalshi. So, everyone's making predictions before the year. Look, we're making predictions right here, right now. Who's going to make the playoff? Who's going to miss the playoff? Who's winning the national championship? Who's making the Big Ten championship game? You can trade on all of that and more over at Kalshi, America's #1 prediction market platform. And you can trade those predictions and many more in a live market. On Kalshi, you're trading against peers in a live market, meaning there's no house. And as the probability changes, you can buy in and out of your position. Trade the draft pick, the game, and more on Kalshi. Download the Kalshi app. Use code LOCKEDON to get $10 when you trade $10. KALSHI, Kalshi. Trade on anything. 18 plus only. Restrictions and eligibility requirements apply. Event contract trading involves risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Kalshi products are not available in all jurisdictions. Prices, values, and available markets may differ from those mentioned. For more information, see kalshi.com/regulatory. All right, we are back with a 5-man Locked On Big Ten squad. Could this be the number of teams the Big Ten sends to the college football playoff this year? Jacob Goins, I will start with you. How many do you think are getting in?
I mean, 3 is the easy go-to cop-out answer of the 3 teams that we've been talking about making the Big Ten championship game and then ultimately being sharpied into the college football playoff. The question then becomes, can the 4th team rise up? And that seems to be the question for this conference over the last couple of years. Is it Washington? I'm slowly buying it into the Huskies, as I always do about this time of year. But don't worry, they will disappoint me by the time November comes.
Whoa!
Whoa! I just want to point out, I did not tell him to say that.
He didn't. I'm just speaking the truth. I've always fallen in love with Washington. I'm like, yeah, this is it. And then it's like, crap, never mind. Is it Michigan, right? Year 1 under Kyle Whittingham. Do they find a way to surprise some folks? They've got big games on their schedule. Indiana, Ohio State, if they win 1 or 2, they could be in the playoff as well. I'm going to go 3 until I see a 4th team pop up in this conference. It absolutely could happen. I'm just not going to plant my flag there just yet.
Roman, how many do you want to go for?
I will plant my flag, Jacob. I think there will be 4.
I bet you
and
will.
There's the top 3. I'm not even going to say it's going to be Washington, where I'd like to see that, right? I think they're right on that borderline of, hey, they've got the defense to be able to take that next step forward, the offensive line. If DeMond Williams takes another step forward, there's a lot to like there. But that schedule will be very difficult at different points in time. You look at November. Penn State at home, not going to be easy. Indiana at home, certainly not going to be easy. And then you go on the road to face Oregon. That's 3 of your last 4 games with a trip to Michigan State in there as well. So that's really difficult. I think Washington can go 10-2 this year. But again, it's not just them. It's USC. It's Michigan, it's Penn State. It's this other group of teams where if one of them goes 10-2, I feel like that's going to be enough in this day and age to get them over the edge and into the top 12.
I refuse to put Penn State into a college football playoff.
I'm not saying
prediction.
I like that part of the answer. I'm just saying their schedule is so easy they could fall backwards into 10-2.
But here's
like,
the thing.
Look,
10-2 with their schedule isn't getting into the playoff. I'd
Sure.
put USC in at 9-3 before Penn State at 10-2. There are a lot of 9-3s that I would put in before 10-2. Look at me, I sound like an SEC.
But if they're a one-loss
talking head
team,
over
they
here.
get in. A one-loss team that you Sharpie Penn State.
Yeah,
in, unfortunately.
11-1 I think is hard to turn down because at that point they would have beaten either Washington on the road or USC at home. And seeing as they're starting inside the top 20, perception and brand matter, as we know, and I think that could realistically get him there. So, Craig, 3 seems like the popular number to start at. Do you think the Big Ten nudges that up to 4?
I'm still upset and embarrassed that we only got 3 in last year because I spent half my time talking about how we're the best conference in America over the SEC. So we have to get 4. It's most likely going to be the USC Trojans. I tell you, they got that big game against the Oregon Ducks late September, I think on the 26th. That would help them out a lot if they got it. I don't know if they could win that. I believe that is at USC, though. And then these other teams, Michigan, do they pop up and surprise anybody? I've been saying for 2 years now, Washington is the team to keep an eye on to pop up there. Roman, you got to help me out one of these years. And, Penn State with that record, although another scandal at Penn State, they got an early practice on the whiteout this week with the big cocaine bust. Maybe they can get their act together in that school and not have a scandal going on. I know it doesn't have anything to do with the athletic department, but nevertheless, it's big news this week. Bad things going on at Penn State, but they have an easy schedule, and maybe they can eke their way into 10 wins.
Well, bad is a matter of perspective.
Dude, have you seen them? They've made T-shirts with that dude on it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Some people clearly look at it and go, "Woohoo!"
Are you Pablo Plenchkabar?
Pablo, yeah, it's phenomenal. I saw that. That's fantastic.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
That's what they called him.
yeah, that's his new name. Like,
He's an entrepreneur business major. Leave him alone.
Yeah, what would the LinkedIn profile be for that guy with the right corporate jargon? Entrepreneurial,
Specializing
venture
in
capitalist,
distribution.
Yeah,
exploring
Byron's
high
other
upside opportunities.
Yeah,
High risk, high reward.
Networking, like he crushed it. Good for it.
Yeah.
No, I didn't say that. No.
high energy salesman. You know, like,
Crushed it. I just got that.
It slipped before I even said I shouldn't say that out loud.
Yeah. Anyway, Craig, did you have any final thoughts on the playoff? We got a little sidetracked there.
We gotta get 4 in. We gotta find a way to get 4. And
All
Merry
right.
Christmas if it's 5.
Yeah. Ryan, do you think a fourth Big Ten team gets in there? Or do you think there's a world where it's only 2?
No, there's not a world where it's only 2. Like at some point, this is almost, it's going to be, have you ever watched the NBA and the Lakers are just going to have a certain number of all-stars because they're the Lakers, and the Yankees are always going to have a certain number of all-stars. At some point, if you keep winning national titles, you get 4.
Are you stuck in the 90s? What's going on with you down there?
No, like go look at
Yankees.
Austin Reeves.
2026.
No, my point is, if you win enough and you have enough prestige and pedigree, you're going to get the benefit of the doubt. You've now won multiple national titles in a row. You're going to get 4 teams if there's 4 worthy teams. I think there's going to be. You got your top 3. And I disagree with you. I don't think a 10-win Penn State from the Big Ten is getting left out unless there's another equivalent Big Ten team that might get in there. Now, I hear the argument, but quite frankly, more often than not, people who decide these things have told us through their actions they care more about win-loss record than strength of schedule. And Penn State with 10 wins in the Big Ten, they're not going to get left out. They're not.
Sometimes, yes. Other times, BYU doesn't make the playoff. Why? Perception of the Big 12 is bad.
They're not in the Big Ten. Like in the Big Ten, if you get 10 wins and you're a brand name, you're getting in the playoffs. I really would be surprised if Penn State does that and doesn't get.
I mean, they left Vandy out last year without a thought.
That's not a brand name, though.
right. The thing I always
That's
bring
true.
up in these conversations, and again, it's hard to wrap your brain around this in mid to late August, but so much of this conversation depends on what's happening outside of our conference, right? You're talking about BYU from the Big 12, Vandy from the SEC. Like, what do those conferences look like? Do they have 3, 4, 5 contenders to make the playoff, or is the Big 12 a 2-bid league? Is the ACC a 1-bid league? You know what I mean? Like, there's so many other factors other than which teams from our conference are going to be good.
Well, and here's the other thing. I know this is typically an SEC point. I don't entirely disagree with it, though. There could be a 9-3 team that I'd look at and say they're worthy of making the playoff. In the Big Ten, that team to me is Ohio State. If Ohio State is 9-3, you could have a couple of solid wins against Iowa and Michigan, a great win somewhere else, and you could still have.
You didn't want to say against Oregon.
Well, I got caught. I was just like, I didn't want to double cross.
I get where you're going.
This team and that, but you get my point. Like there are schedules out there that Texas has a pretty hard schedule as well, and if you don't have a disastrous loss on there, well, then maybe you do get it. But I think that conversation gets fascinating because let me throw a wild card at you. What if Texas Tech goes 11-1, makes the Big 12 championship game, loses? They're sitting there at 11-2.
You know how you fix that? Don't play.
Just
Don't play the Big 12 championship game. Why not?
Take the Notre Dame approach. Just pack up and go home.
I don't think you can not play in that, right?
Who says you can't? What are they going to do? What's the Big 12 going to do?
I think the conference says you can't. They say you don't.
The conference probably has a bylaw that says you have to.
Yeah, I don't think you can opt out of the
show up.
Game.
Somebody will do it. Somebody will do it. I'm
Do you
telling
think it's too far after the fact to cite a COVID outbreak on your team?
If they wouldn't show up, they wouldn't get voted in the play. Like it would be like the
probably.
But the problem
Probably.
is, in this scenario, we're saying an 11-2 team like that who lost their conference championship game would most likely be left out. You know what I mean? So it's like, what? You know what I mean? That's why I think conference championship games, as we all agree, are going to disappear in one way, shape, or form anyway. So I think they should not be there because you shouldn't get punished for playing in that game. That game should just be a playoff game.
Yeah.
Spencer, can I make a 2026 proposition for the COVID outbreak?
Oh, yeah. Hit me with it.
Whatever the name of the disease is with the explosive diarrhea from the lettuce, like that's the one.
Yeah. Hold on. Cyclospora.
Yes, that's the one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Like we had a cyclospora outbreak on the team. We can't play.
Sorry, buddy.
Not healthy enough. We're trying to eat salad, which just goes to show you that's for the rabbits and nobody else. Ron Swanson was right. End of segment here. When we get back, big games, bold takes to wrap this Big Ten squad. All right, I want to start with this bold take that is going to come completely out of left field, out of the blue, however you want to say it, for most of you out there. Mike Loxley survives the season at Maryland.
Oh, gross.
I know. See?
Terrible.
Bold take. Bold take.
Wow.
I don't think their roster is completely awful. The injury to their standout defensive end is certainly a killer, but like they have good quarterback play, which is a great place to start, especially in this league. And even with the injury, I still think their defensive line could be pretty solid.
Yeah, I agree.
I feel like that he was saved this year because of Malik Washington at quarterback, and that 5-star lineman they had coming in was
Zion Ely.
Yeah. I think to save that recruit and to keep Malik Washington at quarterback, I think he wasn't fired last year. I can't see him surviving 2 years of that, though.
I got the schedule pulled up. I just don't think I can do it. Now, what happens if they beat Virginia Tech and James Franklin in week 3?
I've predicted them to do that.
That
That's
would
what
be
I'm
awesome.
saying.
I mean, they could beat UCLA at home. They're probably not going to beat Nebraska on the road. Ohio State on the road, obviously not. Rutgers
Actually,
at
that
home
would be
could
like
happen.
the most Nebraska game to lose.
Oh, you're right about that.
I believe they have the longest winning streak of non-conference games in America, like 18. So the Virginia Tech game could be interesting.
How about that? And that game is at home unless it's a neutral site that I don't know
No,
about.
it's at home.
Wow. Okay, but they still have to go to Ohio State, host Illinois, host Wisconsin, to USC, and to Penn State. Like, that's still a 5-loss team at minimum.
Is there a worse team in the league than Wisconsin? Oh, Ryan's here. Gosh, I said that out loud.
Is that a bold take? That just felt like you were stating facts from your.
That's unfair. Purdue still exists.
Purdue still exists.
I'm just pointing out,
Michigan's-
Maryland hasn't beaten Wisconsin since last year.
I was there. Thanks, Spence. I did a post game reaction.
You're welcome. I'm just making the case. That's my bold take. All right, so I'm going to throw it out there. Goins, your bold take for the Big Ten season.
Josh Hoover wins the Heisman, right? No, I'm just kidding. I do think he has a chance to be in New York. I'm not going to go out full homer and say that Josh Hoover will win the Heisman Trophy, but my bold take is a show that I actually did earlier this week on Locked On Hoosiers. I think Indiana's defense statistically will be the best college football has ever seen in 2026.
Ooh.
That's a nice defensive line they got.
Ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean Stephen Daly being there, that helps. Okay, Roman, give me your bold take for the Big Ten this season. Could be Washington or otherwise.
My bold take is Washington wins 10 games this year. I think that that's something that people aren't really expecting from this roster right now, but when you really go over and you look through it, it's a really fun mix of veteran play and really exciting young talent that this coaching staff believes can step into big roles this year, where I look at this defense and I mean, I can't follow up the best defense of all time statistically, but I think that Washington can have a top 10 defense in the nation this year with what they're building on from last year, where you were 12th in the nation in run defense, 15th in points per game allowed, 21st in total defense. So a big step forward with a whole bunch of returning talent at linebacker in the secondary and a brand new defensive line that's way deeper, way more talented than we've seen, according to Jed Fish, in his entire coaching tenure between UW, Arizona. So I really like that group itself, and you combine that with a really good offensive line that's returning over 1,800 snaps, plus 2,500 when you include a second stringer in that group as well. That Damon Williams, a young but high upside group of running backs, wide receivers. I really like where this team is going, and I think that the schedule sets up very, very well. You just have to prove that you can win one of those 3 games of USC, Indiana, and Oregon. I think the rest takes care of itself. Nebraska, Michigan State, Purdue, those will be, decent enough Big Ten road games, but the other tough games in your schedule, Iowa, Penn State, they're at home. So I really like what Washington can do and just continue to build on what Jetfish started last season.
There's a real world where Washington at USC, we look back and say that was a winner gets into the playoff.
I've been saying that for a couple weeks on Locked On Huskies.
That can happen. That can happen. Okay, Craig, bold take for the Big Ten this year.
Indiana is actually better than they were last year. They are okay. Loaded.
Well, that's enough from Craig Sheeman.
No, don't worry. Oh, never mind. I was about to say, I got you, Craig. Yes, continue your thought, good sir.
I'm hearing things about Josh Hoover is better than Fernando Mendoza at this point. They have not one but 2 running backs on the Doak Walker watch list. Both lines of scrimmage are steady. Their linebackers are replenished. They're going to be good to go. They're going to be 6-0 going to the Ohio State game. They win that. There's nothing going to stop them.
It's a terrifying thought for everybody else if that winds up being the case. Better than 16-0 national champs. That qualifies as bold take. Ryan, your bold take for the Big Ten.
I had one, and now I just got to shift it based on what I've heard. My bold take is people are getting way too high on Indiana. Like, calm down. Best defense ever, and better than a team that just went 16-0, and their quarterback's going to be better than a Heisman Trophy winner. This is peak copium.
I'm sorry. I didn't know Mark Culkin was on this call. I didn't know he was here. Sorry. Just say stay humble.
Guys.
Just tell me to pipe down.
We're not talking about the 80s Celtics or something here. We are talking about a team that was incredible last year. Let's see if, again, I'm not even down on Indiana. They're amazing. But, like, when I hear best defense maybe ever, and they're going to be better than their 16-0 team last year with the guy that won a Heisman and went 1-1, I just feel like the pendulum didn't swing quick enough when Indiana got Cignetti. People were too slow to swing that pendulum to, like, he's an amazing coach. Now it's swung a little too far. This talk is getting a little too far, in my opinion. That's the bold take. People are getting a little too high on Indiana. It's my bold take.
Wish we could play a 17th game just to have a better record.
Really quick, my 30-second other one was I think USC could find itself into the Big Ten championship game. They return a ton of continuity. They were 7-2 in the Big Ten last year. All 5 offensive line starters come back. It's not a terrible schedule. They went all in. The roster's in the best spot it's been in a while. That was my hot take.
This is a pretty tough schedule.
This is Mark Culkin.
It's not terrible.
You got Oregon, Washington, Penn State, Ohio State, and Indiana on there.
Yeah, you get most of those at home, right? Like, you have to go to I don't know.
You have to go to Wisconsin, but everybody wins there.
I mean, not Purdue. Purdue hasn't won there in a while.
Hang your hat on that one, brother.
Long time, baby.
Hey, I have something
that's
it's not a bold take per se, but it's something that I would really enjoy to see. How about a Heisman Trophy winner that's not a quarterback and not named Jeremiah Smith? Because when you pull up the odds on FanDuel, it's a lot of quarterbacks, guys. Like a lot of CJ Carr, Arch Manning, Darian Menza, Julian Sand, Dante Moore, Josh Hoover, Trinidad Champ. Like the list goes on. And the only guy that's in there that's not a quarterback is Jeremiah Smith. And then the drop-off is ridiculous. I believe Malachi Toney is the next non-quarterback, not named Jeremiah Smith on the Heisman betting odds. So it would be cool. Not really a take or a prediction, but it would be cool to see.
Savion Hyder. Anybody?
Cam Coleman.
Cam Coleman. Yeah.
Cam Coleman. Yeah. Oh,
Problem
I thought we were just talking in the Big Ten.
Jacob said Malachi Toney. That's why I went where I did.
The problem is, though, if Cam Coleman is as good as advertised, they'll give the award to Arch Manning. They would never give it to him.
That's fair.
You're right.
That's very fair.
Yeah, that's true. All right, let's wrap with a couple of games maybe, and we can kind of do this collaboratively that we're excited for in Big Ten play that'll really have a major impact on the season. I want to start with one on September 26th in Los Angeles. I have never seen a team so obsessed with beating another from official communications, publications, whatever, than USC and Oregon. Like I know the fans really want to beat Oregon because USC can't stand Oregon, Oregon can't stand USC. But the USC media team has fanned the flames several times this offseason. The amount of jabs, appearances, or hints at Oregon this offseason is unlike anything I've seen. I think September 26th is going to be even bigger than we thought when we were further out from the season. Craig, you're an all-around Big Ten guy. You agree with that?
Oh yeah, I've been saying that all summer. Like USC, that game is so important for them and everything they stand for, and I think they got to get it to get into the playoffs. And I like how the schedule's out because that's the biggest game in September. October, you got the Indiana Ohio State game, and then the November Oregon, back to Oregon again, Oregon and Ohio State. Those are the three biggies in my mind. But yeah, USC's got to have that game to stop all this Lincoln Riley chit chat. And is he getting them to the next level? That game is huge.
Yeah. Roman, do you want to throw out the one that you should throw out there for games that could define the Big Ten or college football playoff picture this year?
I feel like there are several that you're trying to set me up for here. And the one I want to, yeah. Throwing to me specifically for that? Because you want me to talk about the USC Washington game?
No.
Which one do you want me to talk about?
The Indiana game.
Yeah, that's what I want to talk about.
We're on the same page. No, that's the one because it's at home. Oregon USC on the road, but Husky Stadium has been a treacherous place to go.
Absolutely, and this is the third consecutive year that the defending national champion is coming to Husky Stadium. So that's going to be really cool, and it's one of those things where Jacob Goins is going to be at that game, right? We're gonna have a great time. That's going to be a blast in and of itself. But no, this is something I'm really excited for because no matter what that Indiana team looks like, where they could have the best defense of all time, and coming to Husky Stadium is going to be a problem. Where I think that they could still very much walk out of that game with a win. But Husky Stadium is something where for Big Ten teams coming to the West Coast for the first time and experiencing that for the first time, it's different. And it's a one-of-a-kind experience. And I can't wait.
Yeah. Ryan,
Indiana won at Autzen last year, just for a reminder.
I forgot. Ryan, which Wisconsin game are you most excited for on the schedule this year?
It's the Minnesota game. You got to get the Axe back. Like you gotta get the Axe back. Wisconsin, listen, we all know this. Wisconsin's not playing for the Big Ten championship this year, but get back to a bowl and get the Axe back, right? And if you do that, I think a lot of Wisconsin fans will look at this season as, okay, good step forward. It's big. You'll notice I don't have an axe behind me. I have a model axe, a replica of Paul Bunyan's axe. I haven't been on display for years. I lost it a while ago because I couldn't find it because it's been so long. So
not good.
It's an axe, dude. How do you lose it?
We moved and I packed it away. And then during the game last year, I thought we might win. And I was yelling for my wife. I'm like, babe, where's my axe? And she's like, you check the garage. I'm like, it's not in the garage. Where's the axe?
So win the axe or Luke Fickell gets the axe. There's a show.
Hey.
Boom.
That's a pro right there.
Bang.
That's a pro.
That's how we end this season preview of the squad. Jacob Goins, Locked On Hoosiers. Roman Tomashoff, Locked On Huskies. Craig Sheeman, Locked On Big Ten. Ryan Herring's, Locked On Badgers. I'm Spencer McLaughlin from Locked On wherever, quite frankly. We appreciate everyone listening. We'll see you next time, and until then, hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.